prasadam schedule, but so thank you very much, and I welcome all of you for this new semester of BhaktiSastri. We are going to start reading the Bhagavad Gita right from chapter 1. Today will be a chapter 1. We'll have an orientation before we start. But before we start, we'll do the Jai Radha Madhava prayers and then do the Mangalacharan, and then we can start. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ji ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Yes, we can do that. No, that's fine. Let's do it in the traditional way. Let's just keep it. We have the copies of Bhagavad Gita, so. So I welcome all of you, and nice to see Varun and Aarti back, and everybody else. Please, Yash, good to see you. Hare Krishna. So, today we are going to start Bhagavad Gita. But before we start, every class will do the Mangalacharan prayers. For those who are unfamiliar, it's on page 1, which is on introduction. If you open your copies of Bhagavad Gita, and if you see the introduction on page 1, it's there. So we'll do that. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroh Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhayascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Matsamo Nasti Papatma Naparadhi Chakaschana Parihare Pilajjame Kim Bhruve Purushottama Bhumau Skalita Padanam Bhumireva Valambanam Tvai Jata Paradhanam Tvameva Sharanam Prabho Yatpada Pallava Yugam Vinidaya Kumbha Dvandve Pranama Samaye Saganadhirajaha Vignan Vihantum Alamasya Jagatrayasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So, and those who are online, are there anybody online? And you can, I'm welcome all of you. So today we start with the Bhagavad Gita. But before we start, I just want to give a little bit of difference between the previous semester and this semester. In the previous semester, for those who did not join, we did the Nectar of Instruction and the Isopanishad. They were two small books, and it was a relatively easy matter to cover. But for Bhagavad Gita, it is slightly more involved. And my request is that you keep the schedule intact in terms of your reading, because the more you slip up on the reading, the more difficult it will be to catch up. What happens in that case is, it's not just, yeah, sure, I'll just put in extra hours and I'll just read Bhagavad Gita. But that's not the goal of doing BhaktiSastri. The goal of BhaktiSastri, we are neither here to get a degree. Of course, we will get a degree. Don't worry. It's not I'll make you work for 2 years and then say, that's good. You have done, take care. But the point is, you'll get a degree. But the degree is not in like an academic setting. Neither is it that you're going to get a promotion when you flash your BhaktiSastri degree before your boss. Nor will you get a medal from Obama. Nothing like that. It is for our deep internal satisfaction and purification that we read Bhagavad Gita. And we do so in a non-competitive, not in a materialistic way, because we are reading Bhagavad Gita for our own purification, internal purification. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter that, O Arjuna, who studies this conversation, worships me through his intelligence. So we are worshipping Krishna through our study of Bhagavad Gita. And the more we take time to understand, more Krishna will reciprocate with us through pages of Bhagavad Gita, more Srila Prabhupada reciprocates through us. So my request is, it's going to be at least not more than 15 to 20 minutes of reading every day if you stick to the calendar. So we started reading the first chapter last week. My apologies that we had to reschedule the class. We had the class last Sunday, but because of some sudden reason, I had to reschedule it. We are going to stick with the calendar for the rest of the semester, and we will have our exam on March of 15th, 2015. So it's 3/15/15. For those who wants to remember the date, it's pretty easy to remember. That is the date we will have the exam. We are not going to change it, come what may. Unless there is if there is any objections or any major festivals on that day, we made sure that there were none. But in any case, that's going to be the date. So I humbly request you to, set your calendar accordingly and make sure that you are available for that day. There will be no makeup exams. There will be no, later dates and stuff like that. It's going to be in the temple on Sunday, just March 15th. Sorry. The other aspect is that by reading Bhagavad Gita, one strengthens one's own mind. Why do we read Bhagavad Gita is because one of the biggest obstacles in our path of spiritual life are doubts. Why am I doing? What is the purpose behind my doing? And those doubts actually drag one back and lessen one's enthusiasm to serve Krishna. But when we read Bhagavad Gita in a setting like this, we can read Bhagavad Gita at home. One might ask, why do we actually need to come in a group like this and study? Trust me, coming in a group and studying, it's much more beneficial in terms of not only retaining the subject matter which we are going to discuss, but also in terms of understanding it from various angles. Because many devotees will have different questions. You might see it from a different angle from him. And then, when it comes forth, then we can thoroughly understand the subject matter. And it becomes much more easier to read, much more joyful to read. Otherwise, Bhagavad Gita in of itself, it takes some guidance to read. And the format is that we'll take questions towards the end. What has happened in the past is when we break in the middle for questions, then the question and answer session can run and consume more time, and in the end we have to rush through the verses which were pending. So we'll take the question and answers to the end. To keep that format in place, I'll try to go through in a reasonable fashion, not too fast, not too slow. But having said that, if any devotees have concerns that it's going either too fast or too slow, then just raise your hand, let me know. But the questions we can save it to the end. Is that okay? All right. Any other concerns or questions? Before we start, the other thing is Bhagavad Gita. There is a beautiful introduction Srila Prabhupada wrote, and one might ask, why are we jumping directly into chapter 1 and skipping introduction? So Srila Prabhupada wrote introduction as a separate booklet just to introduce people to Bhagavad Gita. So we are directly reading Bhagavad Gita. So introduction we'll skip for now, but we'll come back later, probably in the next semester. I was thinking we never did it in the past, but one suggestion I had in mind was that we'll do it in the second semester. After we do the 18 chapters, then we go for do the introduction. Then you'll actually realize it'll nicely summarize. Because trust me, when you do the first semester, pretty much, and you go back and do the second semester, you will forget much of the first semester. That's nobody's fault. It's just the way things are. Good. So shall we go? All right. There are a couple of ways of doing. I'll just do the Sanskrit and the translation, and for probably important verses, then we'll all repeat together. Text 1. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharmakshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kimakurvata Sanjaya. Translation. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? So Srila Prabhupada explains here, this purport is a little important. We'll just go through and then we'll discuss a little bit. Purport: Bhagavad Gita is widely read theistic science summarized in the Gita Mahatmya, glorification of the Gita. There it says that one should read Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand without personally motivated interpretation. The example of clear understanding is there in Bhagavad Gita itself, in the way the teaching is understood by Arjuna, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate to understand Bhagavad Gita in the line of disciplic succession without motivated interpretation, then he surpasses all studies of the Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. One will find in Bhagavad Gita that all that is contained in other scriptures, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is the specific standard of the Gita. It is perfect theistic science because it was directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. So, here two things are mentioned. How do we read Bhagavad Gita? Through amongst the association of devotees like this, and then we get a better understanding. And then Gita has things which are not found elsewhere. So that they are the two specific standards of Gita. So other thing Srila Prabhupada writes is, Dhritarashtra says, Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamakaha pandavaschaiva. Mamakaha means my sons, and Pandavaschaiva means the sons of Pandavas. So here the mind of Dhritarashtra is disclosed. The setting is there, little bit a setting to this where the starting of Bhagavad Gita is. So we know that the Pandavas and the Kauravas, they were enemies, or they were against each other, because the Kauravas, they grabbed unlawfully the kingdom of Pandavas, and the condition was for 12 years they will be in the forest, and then for 1 year they will be incognito. Then when they come back, the Kauravas refuse to give their kingdom. And many of the peace missions which were executed by Krishna failed. And in the end, the war was inevitable. So the scene was set where Kauravas and Pandavas, they were there facing each other on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Unlike the modern times where the armies rarely see each other, or even if they see, it's going to be like somewhere in the ambush trying to fight. All the military might of both Pandavas and Kauravas were there assembled. Millions of men, horses, elephants, chariots, weapons, foot soldiers, you name it, they were ready, and they were ready to fight. So, Dhritarashtra here says, Mamakaha, my sons, Pandavaha, sons of Pandava. So it shows that Dhritarashtra had this differentiation of my sons versus my versus them, us versus them kind of thing. And then he was a little afraid because Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. The battlefield was in Dharma kshetra, which is really like a holy place. You know, what was he afraid of? Naturally, if it's a holy place, you might be afraid of losing. But here, Dhritarashtra was afraid that under the influence of holy place, my sons may go for a compromise. They may compromise with Pandavas. They shouldn't compromise. And then the other meaning of the word kshetra means, kshetra is also an agricultural field. So, in agricultural field, along with the crops, what else grows? In any garden, weeds. So, the weeds, according to Lord Krishna, who were the weeds? The Kauravas, and they have to be uprooted. That will happen. That's another significance of the word Dharma kshetra or Kurukshetra. Right? So we'll just go ahead. Text 2. Sanjaya uvacha drishtva tu pandavanikam vyudham Duryodhanastada acharyam upasangamya raja vachanam abravit. Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army engaged in the military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. Text 3. Pashyaitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatim Chamum Vyudam Drupada Putrena Tava Sishyena Dhimata. Translation: O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Now, who is speaking here? To whom is he speaking? Yeah, Dronacharya. So, because Dronacharya was his teacher, Acharya. Now, he says, O my teacher, look at this army arranged by the very intelligent son of Drupada. Why does he say son of Drupada? Who is son of Drupada? Drishtadyumna. But why didn't he mention the name of Drishtadyumna? Why did he say son of Drupada? Because please understand that Duryodhana was a very clever politician. The idea was, he was in a quandary. He was fighting against his own cousins. But the people who were leading his army were Dronacharya and Bhishma. Now they had a soft side to both the parties. They were, Dronacharya's most brilliant student was Arjuna. And Bhishma's favorite grandchildren were the Pandavas. So here he had to kind of marshal his resources. So he goes to Dronacharya and he says, Oh my teacher, look at this excellent arrangement of army by the son of Drupada. He pointed out two mistakes in this. The first mistake he pointed out was, why did you actually teach Drishtadyumna? I'll tell you why, the story a little bit for those who are puzzled. The second thing he says is Drupada. By using the word Drupada, because Dronacharya and Drupada were both best buddies in college. And Drupada was a king, Dronacharya was a Brahmana. In those days, when people would go to Gurukul, there was no distinguishing between who was a king, Kshatriya, and who was a Brahmana. Because everybody would learn under the guidance of the same teacher, and there would be no distinguishing. Drupada and Dronacharya were the best of friends. So once Drupada said to Drona, if I ever become king, half of my kingdom is yours. I love you so much. And they they graduate, they pass, they go out. And then Dronacharya starts his family, he gets married, he starts his family life. And then he is, because Brahmanas in those days would live in poverty, he found that his son did not have milk to drink. It was that dire a situation. So he says, okay, my Drupada is my friend, and I'll just go ask him for a cow. Just ask him for a cow so that I can get some milk for my son. His son's name is Ashwathama, thank you. And so Dronacharya goes to Drupada, he says, oh, you are my friend, and you know what, I'm in some trouble, please give me a cow. Drupada says, what nonsense are you talking? You are a poor, wretched Brahmana, and I am the king. How can there be an equal friendship between both of us? If you want charity, I will give you charity. Take it, but don't claim friendship. Now, Dronacharya is very insulted by these words. So he takes a vow that, he is going to defeat Drupada. So Dronacharya becomes the teacher of Kauravas and the Pandavas. And when they graduate, usually in those days there was no fees. There was no need of student loans. There was no need of anxiety about how to, there was no question of investing in college. It was free. And then once it was done, then the students would voluntarily go to their teacher and give some sort of Guru Dakshina, saying that, this is like a token of our appreciation for whatever you taught us. So the Kauravas and Pandavas, they go to Drona, ask him, sir, what Guru Dakshina can we give you? They said, capture Drupada and bring him to me. The Kauravas go first. They are utterly defeated by Drupada. The Pandavas try next, and they capture Drupada, they drag him, he falls down at the feet of Dronacharya. So Dronacharya takes half of his kingdom. He takes it, and Ashwathama becomes the king, or the prince regent, whatever in those days the hierarchy was. So there was an enmity. By saying the word Drupada, Duryodhana wanted to instill anger in Dronacharya. And then the second thing was that The sequel to that story was that Drupada becomes very insulted that I have been defeated by Dronacharya's student and he wants revenge. So he performs a fire sacrifice wherein he gets a son who is destined to kill Dronacharya. And the son is Drishtadyumna. He comes to Dronacharya to learn the art. And then Dronacharya, being a liberal Brahmana, he teaches him. Suppose if somebody comes to your house to kill you, and then you say, okay, here is the gun, take it. But in those days, he was liberal Brahmana. So he pointed out two mistakes in this particular verse by saying that son of Drupada. Then text 4. Atra shura maheshwasa bhimarjuna samayudihi yuyudano viratascha drupadascha maharata. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting, Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Yudhana, Virata and Drupada. So again, he son of Drupada, and then he says again word Drupada. So 2 times he brings the same word to incite anger in Dronacharya. Text 5. Drishtaketuschekitanaha Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungava. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja and Shaibhya. Text 6. Yudhamanyascha Vikranta Uttamo Jascha Viryavan Saubhadro Draupade Yascha Sarva Eva Maharatha. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. The son of Subhadra, quiz question. Abhimanyu, thank you. Koladvipa Prabhu, next time you are not allowed to answer. At least for 2-3. So, here, Sarva Eva Maharatha. So, in those days, the fighters were, instead of saying generals and then whatever, admirals, whatever they have in the army these days, there was Maharatha, then Athiratha, and Ardharatha, and so many qualifications. Maharatha is a person who could fight with 10,000 warriors at the same time. And please understand the other importance of Maharatha is he was very expert in scriptures. So both Shastra and Shastra he was expert. When they go to the Gurukul, they have to learn both. Dronacharya would teach them how to wield their weapons, but at the same time he would give them the Shastras. Because kings in those days, they had to abide by Shastras. They had to know the rules of how to govern. Not just you just have a political party created, then that's about it. No. There were rules that governed them. So, why did I bring up Maharatha? We'll come to it in a second. But so Maharatha is an expert in weapons and scriptures. Text 7. Asmakam tu vivishtaye tani bodha dvijottama nayaka mama sainyascha sangyartam tan brahmimite. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Text 8. Bhavan bhishmascha karnascha kripascha samitim jaya ashwathama vikarnascha saumadattastataivacha. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in the battlefield. Here, he says, Bhavan Bhishmascha. Who is the commander-in-chief of Kaurava army? But why did he mention Bhavan Bhishmascha? First you, and then Bhishma. Because here, Duryodhana again was in a quandary. He's a political person, pakka political person. Should I mention Bhishma first or Dronacharya first? If he mentions Bhishma first, Dronacharya will be angry. But if he mentions Dronacharya first, Bhishma won't be angry because Dronacharya is a Brahmana. So, Brahmana gets the first respect. So he says, Bhavan Bhishmascha. So you and then Dronacharya, you are especially capable of leading my army. Now, the other important point is Vikarna. He mentions the word Vikarna. Who is Vikarna? Brother of. Was he in the same caliber as Bhishma and Karna? No. But why is he mentioned? Wonderful, wonderful. So here was the deal. In those days, Kshatriyas would love to fight. But the beauty is they didn't care on which side they fought. They were not too into the political party kind of thing. I don't care. But, so there was always a question of defection. So I can fight on this side or that side. No hard feelings there. But once you start the war, once you join one side, you can't switch sides in between the war. Vikarna is mentioned because, as you rightly said, Vikarna was not a great fighter, but at the same time he was the only person who opposed Draupadi's disrobing in the assembly. So Duryodhana mentions Vikarna to pacify him and to keep him on his side. Lest he not defect. Last minute he has a change of heart. Oh my God, I am fighting against my Duryodhana who's like, let me jump onto the other side. So by mentioning his word, he kept him in this side. So if one gets, so please understand, in our devotional service, we usually don't seek for any credit. But if somebody mentions our name and credit, there could be more than one motive. All right. Text 9. Anyecha bahava shura madarte tyaktva jivitaha nana shastra praharnaha sarve yuddha visharada. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all are experienced in military science. So here Duryodhana is evaluating his own strength now. He estimated the strength of the Bhishma and then he is estimating the strength of his own side. Text 10. Please forgive me, I have some allergies. Aparyaptam tadasmakam bhalam bhishma birakshitam paryaptam tvidametesham bhalam bhima birakshitam. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. So, Srila Prabhupada says that aparyaptam, the word aparyaptam means, what is the meaning here? If you look from word to word, it is immeasurable or unlimited. So that's what is the meaning here as said by Srila Prabhupada. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually gives an opposite meaning. He says that our strength, aparyaptam, means not. Aparyaptam means it's not enough. It's not enough. Aparyaptam. Because no matter how much we have strength, Bhishma is on their side. Bhishma is always thinking about Pandavas. So it's never enough. So the point I try to bring about is that when we read Bhagavad Gita and commentaries by Acharyas, there can be difference of opinions. Acharyas can see in a different way, but that doesn't in any way contradict or that doesn't in any way make the meaning less. One meaning, the one verse of Bhagavad Gita or one word of Bhagavad Gita can have different meanings. And all the meanings, if you see, they kind of come together well after a certain time. Initially there may be contradictions. Either we try to resolve it with our intelligence, with the basis of our knowledge, or we just accept all the explanations and move forward. Rather than debating who is right and who is wrong. Please never do that. Because the acharyas have their own meaning. We just say, okay, this person said this person said this. According to my intelligence or my spiritual master, maybe this is right, but we just respect the opinions. At least in the Gaudiya Vaishnava line. That doesn't mean that we don't have rules and regulations. For example, the Mayavad school of philosophy, we don't say, okay, we respect their opinions too. We don't. There is a specific, we use our intelligence to see which we have to versus which we can't. But please don't take sides. This is better. No. My favorite is this Acharya. He is better. No. All the Acharyas are, they have their own thing. Make sense? All right. Text 11. Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yata bhagamavastitaha bhishmam eva virakshantu bhavanta sarva evahi. All of you must give full support to grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. So here, again, Duryodhana is doing his juggling act. He glorifies Bhishma, saying Bhishma is great, he's protecting our army. But then he says, no, Bhishma is also old. So, all of you should protect him. So that way he's juggling. You can see the mind of Duryodhana. He's not very sure of his victory. Because dharma is not on his side. So he has last minute tension, anxieties, last minute, balancing acts of making sure that his army is all motivated and ready to fight for a wrong cause. Stop it. Okay, well, I'll take questions at 27, if that be, after we complete 27. Text 12. Tasya sanjanayan harsham kuru vriddha pitamaha simhanadam vinadyochai shankam dadmo pratapavan. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. So here, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that while externally Duryodhana felt, yes, grandfather is ready to fight, he is not defecting. Last minute he is not thinking twice about jumping to which party. Yes, he is fighting on my side. Duryodhana was thinking like that. And internally Bhishma was saying, I am blowing the conch shell and it's a symbol of Lord Vishnu. He is on the opposite party, so you are pretty much doomed. Take care. Internally he was saying, you know what, my grandson, this is not going to happen. So, because please understand, Bhishma was a pure devotee. He was a Mahajan. He knew the heart of Lord. Text 13. Tata shankascha bheryascha panavanaka gomukah sahasaivabhya hanyantaha sashabdas tumulo bhavat. After that, the conch shells, the drums, bugles, trumpets and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. Tata shvetair harair yukte mahati syandane stito madhava pandavaschaiva divyo shankau pradatmatuhu. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Panchajanyam Hrishikesho Devadattam Dhananjayaha Poundram Dadmau Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vrikodara. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called the Panchajanya. Arjuna blew the Devadatta. And Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Poundra. Here it is said that how the name Vrikodara comes and what is the meaning of that name, Vrikodara. And then what little bit of mention is mentioned here. And how Hrishikesha means the master of senses. Hrishikesha. Text 16 through 18. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha Nakula Sadevascha Shugosho Manipushpakau Kashyascha Parameshwasaha Shikandi cha Maharataha Drishtadhyumno Viratascha Shatyakischa Parajitaha Draupado Draupadeyascha Sarvasha Prithivipate Saubhadrascha Mahabahu Shankan Dadmau Pritak Pritak. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijay, and Nakula and Sahadev blew the Sughosha and Manipushpaka. The great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadhyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Saghosho datarashtranam hridayani vyadarayat nabascha prithivim chaiva tumulobhyanunadayan. The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So when Bhishma blew his conch shell, the Pandavas were not really, their hearts were not shattered. But when Pandavas blew theirs, then Kauravas' hearts kind of started trembling a little bit. Text 20. Atha vyavasthitan drishtva datarashtra'n kapidvajaha pravritte shastra sampate dhanur udyama pandavaha rishikesham tada vakyam idam aha mahipate. At that time, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in the military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. So text 20 is the first time when the mention of the Lord is happening. And the first name of the Lord is Rishikesha. Text 22, 21 and 22. Arjuna uvacha senayor ubhayor madhye ratam stapaya mechyuta yavadetam niriksheham yoddu kamana avastitah kair maya saha yodavyam asmin rana samudyate. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend this great trial of arms. So, who was Krishna? What was Krishna's role in Mahabharata war? Charioteer. Now, charioteer is not a very prestigious position compared to being the commander-in-chief. But why was Krishna the charioteer?
It was symbolic for him controlling the battle as well as controlling the most important warrior in the battle, Arjuna.
So we have to use... Thank you very much. That's just I'll just wipe this.
Nehru. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I think that it was more of symbolic for Krishna to be charioteer so that he could control the entire battle from both sides. And also he could also control the mind and action of the most important warrior in the entire battle. So although Bhishma, there were really big Maharathis in the battle, but Krishna knew that Arjuna is the one who is ultimately going to decimate them all. So that's where I think he decided to take the role of the charioteer.
Thank you. Yes, escape Prabhu.
Krishna gives a vow or to the Duryodhana, and also when Arjuna, when they come, Arjuna sits in his leg side and Duryodhana sits in the very head side. Then he asks what the first boon. Then Duryodhana asks for the all 16 exogenes of the army, 16,000, and then Arjuna asks for him. So that's why he took the position. And also the other part of the boon is that he doesn't use any weapons.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good answer. More? Yes, Sridhar.
Krishna was, he vowed not to fight in Mahabharata. So, charioteer role is something that's not an active fighting role. So that's why he took the charioteer position. And he also wanted to be with his dear close friend.
Thank you. So. And it is, Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport that it's out of love for Arjuna. All the reasons are excellent, but Krishna could have been like in Dwarka, spending time with Rukmini and at the same time controlling the battlefield on the Kurukshetra. But he loved his friend intensely, and it is mentioned about how we try to serve God, and we want to be the servant of God and love Him unconditionally. It's an astonishing fact that God wants to serve His devotee. God is looking ways and means, how can I serve my devotee? That is His mentality. So it is vividly clear here. Krishna could have been anywhere. He still could have controlled it. Yeah, in fact, He controls. It's an illusion to think that He's not around. I mean, he's there in the Murti form, all right, but he's sitting in everyone's heart. The whole material world is tightly under his control. His time factor is there. His modes of material nature are there. They are controlling everybody since time immemorial. Anyway, when we read the modes of material nature, probably in the 14th chapter, then we'll really know what Krishna's power is, and then how he need not have necessarily been on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to control it, but because he loved his devotee so much. He said, my devotee serves me, I'll serve my devotee. That's why he's called Bhaktavatsal. Nice, all beautiful points.
Also, is it?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Yeah. He wanted to speak Bhagavad Gita, so.
Nice. Yes. Wonderful point, Balav. Makes sense. Makes sense. Text 23. Yotsyamanam aveksheham ya etatra samagataha dhatarashtrasya durbuddhe yuddhe priyachikirshavaha. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Okay. Text 24. Sanjaya Uvacha Eva Mukta Hrishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata Senayoru Bhayoru Madhye Stapayitva Rathattamam. Translation. Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both the parties. Text 25. Bhishma Drona Pramukataha Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan Samavetan Kuruniti. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona and all other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Here, Krishna is saying, just see all the army here. But he is also called as Rishikesha, which means he is a super soul sitting in the heart, and he already knows Arjuna's heart and Arjuna's mind. And he knows that Arjuna is going to say, I am not going to fight. Then the Lord is joking here. What's the use of seeing? Just see, but what's the use of seeing? Anyway, you're going to say, I'm not going to fight with them. That's why Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the last line, the joking mood. It's right now it is said. We'll read the last line of the purport on page for text 25. It says, the mind of Arjuna was thus predicted by the Lord in friendly joking, which means that the Lord knew that Arjuna would say that I will not fight, but then he's still asking me to show the army, and then the Lord says, okay, here, see it. But really, are you going to fight now with these people, or are you just going to kind of say, I won't fight? I know what are you going to do. Text 26. Tatra pashyat stitan partha pitrin ata pitamahan acharyan matulan bhratran putran pautran sakhims tata swashuran suhridaschaiva senayorubhayorapi. Translation. There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both the parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. Text 27. Tan samikshasa kaunteyaha sarvan bandhun avastitan kripaya paraya vishto vishidan idam abravit. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. So, the chapter is divided into two parts. The first part is setting the scene. So we see how the scene was set and how various words were spoken. Everybody was ready to fight. And then Arjuna says something. So up till text 27 is setting the scene. From 27 on through 42, 43 is Arjuna's refusal to fight and why he refuses to fight and what is the reasons he gives. Should we go ahead? Any questions? Concerns? Yes. Mike, please give him mic. I'm very, very sorry, but I don't remember your name, so if you can introduce.
My name is Nikul Prabhu.
Nikul.
Yes.
Nice.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Just a light question. We saw that, when they begin blowing their conch shells, right? Each conch shell has a specific name and
Right.
everybody have their own conch shells.
Right.
So is there any other significance rather than just like blowing the conch shells in the beginning of the war?
It was tradition to blow the conch shells before the war began, as a sign that the battle is going to start. Otherwise, there is no specific significance. Not that I remember. It's just Krishna blew his conch shell, which was the sign of victory. Panchajanya. Apart from that, no.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Every conch shell has a story behind it. So I forget what each of the stories are, but every single conch shell. So Krishna Bhagavan with the Panchajanya, he actually killed someone, one of the aspects.
Okay.
That conch shell. And then in general, when blowing the conch shell wasn't just to signify the being in battle.
Okay.
But think about the fact that it's a massive army. How do you communicate with them?
Okay.
All of these conch shells are blowing, signaling to your army, okay, now get ready to fight, we're about to get going. So there's a practical aspect to it as well.
Your good name?
Krishna Mishra.
Krishna?
So I'm here after about the span of 5 years.
Oh, Krishna?
Krishna.
Krishna. Nice. My request is please use the mic because there are people online, they may not. I'll convey that now, but. So Krishna, no worries. Just for the online because it's just something. So our Krishna Prabhu says that there are stories behind each of the conch shell, and thank you for the input. And then, but I think Krishna had his conch shell since time immemorial. I don't think it was specifically acquired because he is Lord Vishnu or the source of Lord Vishnu. He always has a conch shell. Maybe the other conch shells have some. But in any case, I don't know any significance, or the acharyas have not specifically mentioned that I know of. Probably there is. Yes, good.
So when Arjuna is referring to the Kaurava army and Duryodhana specifically, he is again saying over here that sons of Dhritarashtra. Is there any other meaning because he's not referring to Duryodhana directly? Is there any significance to this question?
No, Dhritarashtra had 100 sons. So listing the names of all the 100 sons would be an issue. So he just said sons of Dhritarashtra, which covers the whole gamut of cousins and their armies and their allies and stuff like that. Because they were married 100 sons were married. Naturally, their father-in-laws, who were small kings, they were all on their side. So the whole gang is referred to as sons of Dhritarashtra.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Other questions? Yes.
So 113, I guess. Why didn't Bhishma Pitama defect? Like he clearly knew Krishna is on the other side. He knew what the right thing to do is, but duty is one, maybe an answer, but is there more?
Couple of reasons. One thing is he took a vow that no matter what, I'm going to protect the throne of Hastinapur. So because of that vow, he had to fight on the side of Dhritarashtra. But the second more subtle reason is we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, when we read the first canto, where there is passing away of Lord Bhishma, which is the title, we could see that Bhishma actually wanted to enjoy the fight with the Lord. And he wanted to provoke the Lord. Because as the devotees rightly pointed out, that Krishna took a vow of never wielding any weapon on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But Bhishma fights so valiantly, and his arrows are like just all over Arjuna, harassing him. And then Krishna, he says, to hell with my promise. And he takes the wheel of a chariot and he rushes towards Bhishma to kill him. And Bhishma says that sight is so beautiful that the Lord is covered with blood from his wounds, dust from the hoofs of the horses, sweat is trickling down his face. And as he rushed with the wheel to ready to attack me, the outer garment actually fell off from his body. And that sight is such a beautiful sight to behold. So Bhishma also wanted to fulfill that desire, and Krishna wanted to fulfill Bhishma's desire. That is also another significance why Bhishma fought on the other side, though he was a Mahajan. So, make sense? Yeah. And then it is mentioned actually how Bhishma's arrows, which pierced the body of the Lord, were like flower offerings to Krishna. The Krishna didn't feel them as some sort of pain. Yeah, go ahead.
In continuation to that question,
Mike.
Press the button.
In continuation to the other question, the same question, is there somewhere mentioned that Bhishma really wanted to provoke the Lord in some way, somewhere within the scriptures?
Provoke is not exactly in terms of he wanted to provoke the Lord, but he wanted to enjoy that rasa. Krishna, as we, Nectar of Devotion, when we read, the devotees enjoy many types of rasa with Krishna. One of the rasa is Virya rasa, or Shaurya rasa, that they wanted to enjoy.
So this is implicit, right? This was not outwardly stated by Bhishma anywhere.
Right.
Okay. This is an implicit desire of Bhishma.
Because Bhishma is a Mahajan, he knows the fact that any vow can be broken for the Lord and it won't constitute a fault. What vow is there? I gave when for God's sake I can give up anything. What is this one body with one reputation and one vow has to do anything with Krishna?
True.
But the other significance of that is that Krishna wanted to show again the fact Bhaktavatsal, which comes that he was a charioteer of Arjuna. Krishna is so protective and loving of his devotee, he doesn't care about his own vow. He says, I don't care, my beloved devotee Arjuna he needs some attention. I don't care about my vow. People may criticize me for anything. There is no need to. Again, Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. When he takes a vow, or when there can be nothing that can check his progress. Yet he just picked up the chariot wheel to show to the world how much he loves his devotee. Yeah, I'll come to you. Is that okay? Yes, Sridhar, go ahead.
Prabhuji, actually there is one thing that when Arjuna, is ready to kill Bhishma, that's when he said he cannot kill him. That's when, Krishna actually got down with his the chariot wheel, and then that was like a desire of Bhishma to see him like that. And then when that actually happened, Bhishma actually fell down. He put everything down and said, Lord, come and take me. So that is, I think it's important to mention that beautiful conclusion of that particular moment, that Bhishma just gave himself up right there, that this is the moment I was waiting for, please come and take me.
That I understand, but where is it written that Arjuna refused to kill Bhishma?
I don't know, I think I read somewhere, but unfortunately I cannot quote.
It's okay, but I don't recollect, because once Arjuna says only once that I won't fight, and that is when we are going to read now. After that he is completely into it.
So he was still committed when he was fighting with Bhishma, and
he was shedding rivers of tears when he was shooting arrows at Bhishma, but he never said I won't. After Krishna telling 2 hours of Bhagavad Gita, Then Arjuna repeating the same mistake right in the middle of battlefield. That is a tough one to digest right there. I don't know, maybe it could have happened. I don't have the deep
I don't have
knowledge
a,
of Mahabharata or the Kurukshetra war. The Yuddha Parva might have, I don't know.
I mean, definitely, if you cannot tell, definitely I cannot
Oh, no,
tell.
no, definitely not. I know much less than all of you, so I'm just somehow, it's a joke that I'm a... it's not a joke, it's my service, and I'm taking it seriously, so... not a joke. Not a joke. Few hands have raised. Mataji and then Prabhu, yeah.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to know the meaning of word Mahajan.
Sure. In Bhagavatam it is said that that actually how can we define a proper religious path for different ages? How do we know what is the right religious path to follow? Because there are so many scriptures and each of the scriptures have so many duties. But who is going to give the right source? So that source is Mahajanas. Their words, their actions, they inspire the path for others to follow in them. So they are authorities on the Bhagavad Dharma. There are 12 Mahajanas according to Srimad Bhagavatam. Swayambhu Narada Shambhu Kumaro Kapilo Manuhu Bhishma, and it's there in the book. Vayasakir Vayam Malam. So Yamraj is saying to his messengers, there are 12 Mahajanas and you should follow. Interesting that Kumaras are all 4 are clubbed as one. So. Huh? Right. Sanaka. Anyway, it's fun, interesting. So if one gets into numbers with that, then it's a tough argument, but let's not get into that. 12 Mahajanas. Or 12 plus 3 Mahajanas, if you want to take it. Exactly, kind of thing. So that's a Mahajan. Is that okay? Okay. Yes, you had a question.
So just responding to the previous question on Arjun's willingness to fight Bhishma. So if you go through the actual text of the Mahabharata, he's fully committed to fighting the war, but fully committed to fighting the war and actually fighting the war with his full capability are two different things. So there's a lot of hesitation, both on the part of Bhishma and Arjun, in fighting with their full capability. If you look at the number of people that are killed before and after the death of Abhimanyu, Bhishma kills something like 5 Akshahoni worth of senas, about 1 million people. The day after, so he's off the battlefield on the death of Abhimanyu. Drona is still there. But the day after Abhimanyu is killed, Arjun and Bhim together kill something like 7 or 8 Akshahoni, so more than 1 million people. So before that point, he was hesitant in fighting Bhishma. He did fight with him, but not to his full capability. And that's actually the reason that the Leela plays out where Krishna Bhagwan gets up and picks up a chakra. Because Arjun is not fighting to his full capability. Bhishma is slaughtering the Pandava troops. Bhagwan says this cannot stand. There is the Leela aspect of it that Bhishma is a devotee, and Bhishma wanted to have and have that ras of Krishna picking up a weapon and killing him. He wanted to have the ras of forcing Krishna to break his vow, and Krishna puts his devotees first. And so he's willing to show, hey, I will break my own vow because that is for the pleasure of my devotee. So that's how hard they both fight is the backdrop behind that story.
Thank you. So, any more questions before we go? Okay. Yes. So, if there are any questions, thank you. If there are any questions online? Yeah, *6. Press *6 to mute. Oh, okay, then they can text to SKP Prabhu. And I'm sure everybody knows the number of SKP Prabhu. But anyway, for those who don't know, you can just tell me 408 623 5341. 408 623 5341. So you can text those questions and then we can take it. Other questions, comments? All right. Text 28. Arjuna Vacha Drishpe mam swajanam Krishna yuyutsam samupastitam sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishishyate. Translation: Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up." Excuse me. No, it's okay. Sorry, the temple incense definitely gets to me every time. This is Krishna's way of purifying me. So, in this verse, or in this purport, Srila Prabhupada actually glorifies Arjuna. He doesn't condemn Arjuna. He says that Arjuna is a pure devotee. In this verse, he says Arjuna is a pure devotee, and then pure devotee has this quality of, thank you SKB Prabhu, has this quality of softness or compassion. And in this purport, actually, you'll find, you'll find the first verse or first shloka which Srila Prabhupada uses. He quotes from Srimad Bhagavatam, famous quote shloka 5, 18, 12. The easy way to remember is that verse is in 1812 there was a civil war in US, so I heard by Hanumat Prechak Maharaj. So that's how I remember it's 5, 18, 12. Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavati Akirchara. So this particular purport Srila Prabhupada actually glorifies, saying that Arjuna was a pure devotee of the Lord, and because he was a pure devotee, he had compassion for others. Only those who are devotees can have compassion for others. That's a fact. Those who are in the materialistic consciousness of life, they just want to pull down others so that they can go ahead. In fact, the opposite is that the more you are suffering and struggling in the world, the more happier the other people get, because they feel they are better. Text 29. Vepatuscha sharire me roma harshascha jayate gandivam samsrate hastat takchaiva paridahyate. My whole body is trembling and my hair is standing on end, and my bow gandiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. So here Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, there are two kinds of situations where the hair on the body stand on end. One is extreme fear or anxiety, the other is in spiritual consciousness, spiritual ecstasies. And in spiritual ecstasies, we see in Nectar of Devotion also, the hair standing on end happens. That is on the later part, probably in the southern part of Nectar of Devotion. So here, definitely Arjuna was not experiencing any spiritual ecstasy. Jai Shri Shri Radha Mohan Ji ki Jai. So he was not experiencing any spiritual ecstasy, but he was feeling material fright. Text 30. Nacha shaknomi avastatum brahmativa cha me manaha nimittani cha pashyani viparitani keshava. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, the killer of Keshi demon. So here, there are many reasons why Arjuna refuses to fight. The first of the reasons is mentioned here. He sees that just I'm killing people in this war. What good thing can come out of it? He sees that I just foresee only negative consequences from my participating in this war. So I don't want to fight. Text 31. Nacha shreyonu pashyami hatva swajanam ahave nakankshe vijayam Krishna nacharajyam sukhanicha. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom or happiness. Text 32 through 35. Kimno rajyena govinda kim bhoger jivitena va yesham arthe kankshitamno rajyam bhoga sukhanicha ta ime vastita yudhe pranam styaktva dhanani cha acharya pitara putras tathaiva cha pitamaha Matulah Swashuraha Pautraha Shala Sambandinastata Etanna Hantamichhami Gnatopi Madhusudana Api Trailokya Rajyasya Heto Kim Numahi Krite Nihatya Data Rashtraanna Ka Priti Sajjanardana. O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives, and properties are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for 3 worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? So here, we can see Arjuna's psychology that why should I kill? If I kill, the subtle reason behind Arjuna's thing is, see, if I kill everybody, then how can I enjoy my kingdom? Just try to get this point. You are in the middle of nowhere. You are so far away from your relatives. It never happens to anybody of you, but imagine that you have to get transferred to some middle small village somewhere in the remote part of US where the internet is kind of spotty. And it's okay. You are making a lot of money and therefore you buy the best of the Mercedes-Benz or BMW or whatever car. You have this. You have this big house and a great car, but there is nobody around to show off that car. You are driving all alone in that car. Hey, look at my car, nobody is there. Not even the goats bother and the cows bother to look at you. You're like, what am I doing here? I bought this beautiful car and then... this is Arjuna's dilemma here. If I win this kingdom, all else will be killed. What's the point in winning a kingdom when I can't show off? There are 4 or 5 reasons, or different categories of reasons. The first reason is compassion. Arjuna felt very compassionate. And we see that different verses actually thread into that particular compassion. And then different verses thread into his own psychological need. The other aspect is, this verse gives insight into depression. Because he says, Arjuna says, forget this small kingdom. Even if we get sovereignty over all the 3 worlds, still it won't be happy. Either in this or the next. This one only, right? This one only. So he says, that's the nature of depression of this world. Because when the soul is unhappy, no matter how much of material stuff you get, it won't fill that void. And people who are under depression, they see that. No matter how much they try on the material platform, they are not able to get that happiness, that enjoyment. Try this, Baba. No, try this. Nothing. The material taste is completely gone. And they say nothing in this world can fulfill. That's the reason the person who takes to the path of spiritual life, even though they may have not much or not little, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan Ji ki jai. They may have not much or not little, but still they are happy. Because they have higher connection to God. This verse shows that how without spiritual life, having any material facility won't give that happiness to the soul. And the other thing is, better kill them around. Is that after that, right? Let's see. That is later. Oh yeah, that's later. Text 36. This is please give complete attention to this, because there will be a quiz question I'll ask. Text 36. Papam evashrayed asman atvaitan atatayinaha tasman narha vayam hantum dhatarashtran sabandavan swajanam hi katam hatva sukhina shama madava. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? So what is the premise of Arjuna in the translation? He says, sin will overcome us, means we will become sinful If we kill. All right. Let's read the purport a little bit. According to the Vedic injunctions, there are 6 kinds of aggressors: a poison giver, one who sets fire to the house, one who attacks with deadly weapons, one who plunders riches, one who occupies another's land, and one who kidnaps a wife. Such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin is incurred by killing such aggressors. Now, let's for a minute examine whether the Kauravas were aggressors or not. Let's see the first one. A poison giver. Was Bhima poisoned by Duryodhana? So on that count, are they aggressors? The second, one who attacks with deadly weapons. One who sets fire to the house. Lack? Good. One who attacks with deadly weapons? Yes. One who plunders riches, they took away all their kingdom. One who occupies another land, did they do that? One who kidnaps the wife, Draupadi Vastraharan. So according to the scriptures, if Arjuna kills these people, there is no sin on his part. Yes or yes? But why does he say sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors? Think about it. We'll come back to it later. Is there a contradiction? The contradiction is clear to everybody. Arjuna says sin will overcome us if we kill these people. But Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that there are 6 kinds of aggressors and killing them, nobody incurs sin. The contradiction, is it clear? Maybe Arjuna has become emotional. Maybe he doesn't know about these aggressors, right? It could be a possibility that Arjuna must have forgotten, or he doesn't know who are the nature of aggressors. Is Arjuna a Maharatha or not? Is Maharatha expert in scriptures or not? If he is expert in scriptures, is he aware of this point or not? Then why did he say that sin will overcome us if we kill such aggressors? Think about it. We'll come back to it. If intelligence was covered by, maybe, that's a valid point to start with. But we see later that it was not so. He was able to quote facts from Shastras. Text 37-38. O Janardana, Yadyapyete na pashyanti lobapahata chetasaha kulakshaya kritam dosham mitradrohe cha patakam katam hi gneyam asmabhihi papadasman nivartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyadbhir Janardana. O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in the acts of sin? So Arjuna is clearly aware of Shastras. He says, I'm not emotionally covered. Actually, ordinarily a person in state of Arjuna would be more than happy. He would be jumping with joy. He has been tormented by his cousins for so many years. Since they were boys, they were tormented. And their kingdom was snatched. Their wife was humiliated. Arjuna would be like, yes, I'm ready to kill all these people right now. Why even wait for like so many days? And he was capable, trust me. It's not he was incapable. He should have been jumping at the opportunity, taking back revenge. Here he's saying, I won't fight. They are nice people. Why should I kind of kill them? So he has scriptural knowledge he has. Why should we not kill them? He says further, text 39. Kulakshe pranashyanti kula dharma sanatanaha dharme nashta kula kritsnam adharmo bibhavatyuta. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. Right? Text 40. Adharma bibhavat Krishna pradyushyanti kulastriyaha strishu dushtashu varshneya jayate varna sankara. Translation: when irreligion is prominent in the family of Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. What happens? Krishna, next verse. Text 41, Shankaro narakayaiva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro hyesham lubda pindo dadakriyaha. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down, and because of performances of offering them food and water are entirely stopped. So here Arjuna says two things, that family goes to hell and the killer of that family also goes to hell. Now so many people were destroyed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and in those days there were no women soldiers, all were men. When the head of the family is destroyed, they were supposed to be doing all these offerings, not the women. So he says so here again it comes back to the same thing. His fear of sinful reactions was one of the reasons why he refused to fight. Then his compassion was the second reason why he refused to fight. The third reason was social, because he says that if I kill, then the women of the family are destroyed, and then the social fabric is destroyed, because unwanted progeny come about. So that is another reason why he refused to fight. The fourth reason was psychological, was his own. He wanted to show off his kingdom. Kshatriyas, they like to show off. And when he said, I kill all these people, I'll have a kingdom with nobody to show off, well, what's the point? And the fifth one was indecision. To fight or not fight, I don't know. I can't make up my mind. Because that will be more apparent in the next chapter when we read. Krishna says, he says, I don't know. I give up. I'm confused. I'm confused about my duty because whether to fight or not to fight. I don't know what is good for me. You tell me. So that point, the indecision comes about. So, text 42. Doshair etah kulajnanam varnasankara karakai utsyadante jati dharmaha kuladharmascha shashvataha. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family traditions and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. Text 43. Utsan kula dharmanam manushyanam janardana narake niyatam vaso bhavatyiti anushrushrumaha. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those who destroy family traditions dwell always in hell. So here the list of the reasons why Arjuna is not fighting is social. He sees that the general social work and the social fabric is destroyed. Why should we fight? Text 44. Aho bata mahat papam kartum yavasita vayam yadrajya sukhalobena antum swajanam udyataha. Alas, how strange is it that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. He says, I'm willing to forego. Why just for the sake of killing, sake of enjoying this kingdom, why should I kill so many people? And coincidentally, Yudhishthira also undergoes the same depression later, but that we'll discuss some other time. It's in Bhagavatam about how he undergoes the same depression. Yes. Text 45. Yadi mam apratikaram ashastram shastrapanayah datarashtra rane hanyas tanme kshemataram bhavet. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. So here, there is no question of begging. He doesn't say right now that I'll beg. So what's the option? In those days, Brahmana couldn't work for others. Vaishya couldn't work for others. Neither could Kshatriya. Only Shudra could work for others. So if Arjuna refused to fight, he will have no kingdom. He has nothing to rule. In fact, the Pandavas said that we are willing to accept 5 villages. It's okay. We can avoid the battlefield. We'll accept 5 villages. So at least we can rule it over that and get something to maintain ourselves. So if Arjuna refused to fight, and we know the story about how Duryodhana refused to give even them 5 villages and how the battle started. So what's the option for Arjuna? A Kshatriya can't beg. It's like unthinkable for a Kshatriya to beg. A Brahmana, because they give charity. It's not the modern type of politicians who always keep begging only. They can't give anything. Once the president of US raises money, $1 billion for his campaign, then he keeps running around the country along with his wife to keep raising more and more and more and more and more money. They keep begging always. It was the other way around. In those days, it was impossible to think of a king or a kshatriya to beg. To the point that that there is an interesting story. Hanuman was on the... Where did we come across Hanuman in the previous verses? Excellent. So, previously, Bhima had got a nice flower for Draupadi. And she said, "Oh, Bhima, get me more of these nice, excellent lotus flowers with 1,000 petals, and they're beautiful, very fragrant." And then she said to Bhima, "I want to give to Yudhishthira also. Why don't you get me more flowers?" And Bhima ran. And then, he went to Badrikashram in Himalayas where the flowers were there. And then we know the story about how Hanuman was lying as a monkey, and how, there's a nice reunion of two brothers because they were all sons of Vayu. And then, they embrace each other, and then Hanuman says that, "I'll be always there situated on your flag, and I'll make sure that you get victory over your enemies." And then after the reunion, Bhima goes off to the lake where these particular lotus flowers are there. And when he sees that this particular lotus lake where the lotus flowers are belong to Kuvera, and no mortal would be allowed to enter, then Yakshas and the Gandharvas, they all hounded Bhima. They said, "What are you doing? You cannot enter this lake and steal flowers. This lake belongs to Kuvera. You have to go and ask, request him. In other words, ask for a favor." And Bhima screams at the top of his voice. He says, "Kshatriyas don't beg for favor," and he smashes all of those Yakshas who try to oppose him and takes the lotus anyways. The point here is that Kshatriyas cannot beg. So Arjuna's only option here, if he didn't fight, was to actually be killed by the sons of Dhritarashtra. So it was a pretty serious, dire situation. Please understand that Bhagavad Gita is pretty emotional also. And as we get into it, it seems very technical. There are not many stories about Krishna stealing butter and so many other pastimes. But trust me, as we read Bhagavad Gita, we get the deep message of it. The last verse we'll do, and then we'll take the questions. It's 12 for a change. We are in 1.5 hours. Thank you for being so cooperative. Text 46, the last verse. Sanjaya Vacha Eva Muktvarjana Sankhye Atopastha Upavishat Visrijya Susara Chapam Shoka Samvigna Manasa. Sanjaya said, "Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief." Now, Arjuna took his bow, and what did he do? Cast aside. It may seem a simple thing, but Arjuna had taken a vow that anybody who said, "You are not fit for wielding this bow Gandiva, you should put it aside," he had taken a vow to kill that person. Now, he's himself breaking that vow by casting it aside. When the war came, he just took the bow, kept it aside. I'll tell you a story on that note. Is that okay? Small story? Okay. It's so serious a vow because casting aside the bow. So, during the Mahabharata war, the fight was going on. And this was after Bhishma was killed. Karna was devastating the forces. And then we know the story about how Karna gave the assurance to Queen Kunti. Coming to the point of defecting and joining which side before the party began. So the Kauravas and Pandavas were trying to get as many kings to fight on their side as they possibly could. And Krishna was on the same mission, so he approached Karna. He said, "Hey, Karna, actually, you know what? Let me tell you about your mother and brothers." And then he tells you are actually the eldest Pandava. You come and fight on our side, and you will be the king. Not the Yudhishthira, you will be the king. You will be the eldest Pandava by birth. And then Karna says, no, I'm sorry, I'm on the side of Duryodhana. And then his mother goes, Kunti goes to Karna to kind of request him to fight. And then he says, Mother, I'm going to spare the life of 4 of your children. But Arjuna I'll kill. So either Arjuna will kill me or I will kill Arjuna. You still will have 5 sons. So as a part of the battle, Karna actually attacks Dhritarashtra. And his weapons are gone. Karna had a chance to kill Yudhishthir. I'm sorry. Karna attacks Yudhishthir and he had a chance to kill Yudhishthir. But he promised Mother Kunti that he won't kill him. So he let him go. He says to Yudhishthir, you know what, come back tomorrow and get better weapons. Yudhishthir is insulted. He's a Kshatriya. He's a peaceful person, but he's still a Kshatriya at heart. He is insulted. And he goes back to his camp to fix wounds and all that. Arjuna meanwhile hears that his brother is hurt. Now he's concerned, hurt, okay, let me go and check on him. And then he runs into the camp to find out what happened to Yudhishthir. And he goes into the camp and he's Yudhishthir. And Yudhishthir, he's thinking that Arjuna has killed Karna and is coming back to give him the good news. And that, my insult has been avenged by my younger brother. And then as soon as Arjuna comes into Yudhishthir's room or quarters, Yudhishthir asks, oh, so did you kill Karna? Arjuna says, no. I came here to check on you. You are injured and I heard that and I came to check on you. And Yudhishthir becomes furious. He goes mad. He says, really, you didn't kill Karna, you didn't avenge my death? Better cast aside your bow. You're not fit for Gandiva. And then he said, what did I say? Because Arjuna has taken a vow that anybody who says put your bow aside, you're not fit for this bow, I'll kill him. Now his own elder brother has said that. Dilemma, what to do? And then as Arjuna is ready to fulfill his vow, he takes his sword to kill his own brother. And then Krishna comes and pacifies. He says, okay, you have taken a vow, I know, but better kill him with insults. Because for a Kshatriya, insulting him is worse than death. So then Arjuna goes at his brother. You say, I didn't kill Karna? You were watching your own wife being disrobed in front of the whole assembly and you didn't do anything. You're not even a king. You are not even fit to be a human being. You can't even support your own wife. And on he goes. And then he says, after insulting his brother, he falls at his feet and begs forgiveness. Okay, now we are equal. Your life is saved. And then I kept my vow. So that serious he was when he cast aside his bow meant a great deal to Arjuna. It was not a light thing that happened here. So we can see the state of mind of Arjuna, of how overwhelmed with grief he was, that he didn't care about his own vow. He just said, put aside, I don't want to fight. It was a serious thing. Not like, it's like a teenage girl, love me, not. It's not like that kind of thing. Not like he'd take a bow, I'll fight now, I won't fight now, I'll fight now, I'll fight. No, it was a pretty serious thing. So, thus ends the first chapter. It's, my request is we have one more week. Please read. When you read and come, there can be more questions, can be more interesting. My own ignorance will be completely, utterly revealed so that I can also learn. My spiritual teacher, my Siksha Guru, His Holiness Hanumat Preshak Maharaj says, the universities in the world exist so that the teachers can learn. So, any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I think 2 years before, for BhaktiSastri, you told in first class Gita Mahatmya, Prabhu. So this year you will tell, or next semester.
Okay. Okay, probably I can tell a little bit in brief.
Sure.
So Gita Mahatmya is, thank you, SKP Prabhu. It's from Padma Puran, and Why don't we actually read few verses from Gita Mahatmya? It's there in the introduction. It's beautiful. We can repeat after me. It's on page, I don't know. Page 32, at least in my. Oh, actually, we'll do from page 31. We'll read all the verses together. Page 31 here, but it's the last page of the introduction. 28, okay, thank you. Okay, everybody ready there? For those who are online, we are on page 28. Because it will be, we'll be doing the Gita Mahatmya 1. Is there? Okay. So it's on page 28. We'll kindly repeat after me. Gita dhyayana shilasya pranayama parasya cha naiva shantihi papani purva janma kritani cha. Let's do the translation together. If one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reactions of his past misdeeds will not act upon him. We'll just read the translations. Okay. Then, anyway, this verse we'll read. It's from the Bhagavad Gita, but still we'll read. Sarva dharman parityajya Mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Altogether, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. All responsibilities for those who surrender unto him, and he indemnifies such a person against all reactions. Okay. Maline mochanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sakrit gitamrita snanam samsara malanashanam. One may cleanse himself daily by taking bath in water, but if one takes a bath even once in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of the material life is altogether vanquished. Gita sugita kartavya kimanyai shastra vistaraihi ya swayam padmanabhasya Mukhapadmad Vinishrita. Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. But this is not necessary. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice, because it is the essence of all Vedic literature, and especially because it's spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bharatamrita sarvasvam Vishnu Bhaktrad Vinishritam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate. One who drinks the water of the Ganges attains salvation. So what to speak of one who drinks the nectar of Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is the essential nectar of Mahabharata, and it is spoken by Lord Krishna himself, the original Vishnu. Sarvopanishado gavo Dogda Gopala Nandanaha Partho vatsastu dhir bhokta Dugdam Gitamritam Mahad. This Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, is the essence of all Upanishads, just like a cow. And Lord Krishna, who is famous as a cowherd boy, is milking this cow. Arjuna is just like the calf, and learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam. Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani. Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva. In this present day, people are very much eager to have one scripture, one God, one religion, and one occupation. Therefore, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam. Let there be only one scripture, for one common scripture for the whole world, Bhagavad Gita. Eko Deva Devaki Putra Eva. Let there be one God for the whole world, Sri Krishna. Eko Mantrasya Tasya Namani Yani. And one hymn, one mantra, one prayer. The chanting of his name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Karmapi ekam tasya devasya seva. And let there be one work only, the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nice, huh? More questions? Yeah, yes, Prabhu. And you can, okay, go ahead.
Sean Prabhu, Haribol Prabhu, it's Sean from the Central Valley. Can you please explain the homework?
Okay, homework. We'll have the homework, 2 homeworks like we had for the last semester, and then the grading can be done. The devotees can submit back the homework to Sudeep, who's going to coordinate the homework. And also there are mantras for memorization, so kindly if you do not have it, please remember there are mantras that needs to be memorized for the exam, some shlokas, so some important shlokas. Yes. Before we go, SKP, can you please tell the devotees again your number, those who want to text online, they can.
Hare Krishna, 408-623-5341. I repeat, 408-623-5341.
Thank you. You can send the text. SKP is ready to receive it.
Prabhuji, I had more of a request. The shlokas that you give for memorization, sometimes you get intertwined with the actual pronunciations of the shloka. So I don't know, I'm asking if there is a way, if you can recite the shlokas and give us if we can get the audio,
sure,
then it will be very helpful for us to, say it in the right manner. Because of the shlokas that were given, I think I was mispronouncing a few. And of course you corrected today.
Sure.
So if that can be done, it will be very helpful.
Sure. The other option can be, thank you. The other option can be you can recite all the shlokas at the beginning of every class.
Yeah,
okay.
If we can record it, that would be really great. So that we can play it over and over again.
Sure, we'll do that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay, yeah. Other questions? Yes, Bala.
What is this Gita Mahatmya? What is this?
So it's a glorification of Gita found in Padma Purana. Padma Purana is having 55,000 verses, if I remember right. And there is glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam and glorification of Bhagavad Gita in that. And these verses are coming from that particular Gita Mahatmya. And also it's like a whole section where each of the chapter, it's highlighted. There is a story behind each of chapter. And if one recites or if one understands the one chapter, then you get so much of pious credit. Yeah.
I had one more question. This was mainly from the examination point of view, so it is too early to ask this question, but just wanted to get an overview on how the examination happens and how are we supposed to attempt the examination. If it is way too early, then you may choose to defer this question later.
No, it's fine. It's a good question actually. I think the exam will have a multiple choice, fill in the blanks. And of course, this will be a step up because instead of reading 2 books, we are reading about 300 or 350 odd pages. So I'll try to keep it in such a way that I don't drill deep into how much you can memorize. That's not the goal. The goal will be how much you understand. So my request is when you read the purports and make your notes. What do I understand from this? If somebody asks you, the way you should read is, if you read a chapter or a verse, if somebody asks you what is the meaning of this, then you should be able to answer. The exam will be testing more of your understanding rather than raw memory. I definitely won't be giving questions like, tell me the names of all the conch shells of different people. That's not really helpful in your Krishna consciousness. When you read, you grasp stuff so that it will help me enlighten and strengthen my own faith. That's the goal. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I was looking at the list of disciplic succession,
right,
and it mentions that number 1 in the list, of course, is Lord Krishna. Then Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, Madhava, and the list goes so on. But when I was reading Bhagavad Gita, it was mentioned somewhere that Lord Krishna told it first to son of son, Vishwanku, and then Manu. So their list should be, their name should be in the list.
Vivashwan. Yeah. First, this particular disciplic succession was given to us by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He is the person who actually wrote this. So we kind of take his words. And please understand that it's not one disciplic succession. There can be multiple disciplic successions. And when we read the 4th chapter, where you allude to the fact that Krishna spoke, he spoke many yugas ago. Let me give a brief description of time. Which yuga are we in? And before that, what did come? Before that? So, those 4 cycles of yuga is called one Divya Yuga. And which Manu we are in? 7th. Vaivasvat Manu. But before that, so we were the 7th Manu. So in one day of Brahma, how many Manus come and go? 14. Thank you. So we are in the 7th Manu of one day of Brahma. Which year of Brahma we are in? 50th year. So when Krishna says, I spoke, in which day of Brahma, forget which yuga he spoke. Because Krishna says, I spoke to this to Sun God, and over a period of time this is destroyed. So I have come here to revive that. In that sense, he must have spoken to millions and millions of personalities before he spoke to Arjuna. So you cannot record everything in posterity saying this is the disciplic succession. It was broken. That's why the name Vivashwan is not included. Make sense? Okay. Little perspective. And the other question, I'll add another question to your question. Because Krishna instructed this to Arjuna, why is not Arjuna's name mentioned here? The reason being that these are the prominent personalities who carry forward that message. Arjuna received that message and he was enlightened personality, but he was not strictly in the sense guru to others who kind of continued the disciplic succession. The other thing is Uddhava Gita. Lord Krishna spoke extensively to Uddhava about Uddhava Gita. His name is not there. So Krishna gave instructions to many people. So there is a disciplic succession that actually carries forwards that message. Okay, more questions?
One last.
Yeah. There is no last. We have all the time.
Okay.
The time is factor is only from your side. You might be all in a hurry to go, but I have all the time in the world to sit peacefully and talk. It will be my pleasure and joy.
How would you
Right.
how would you advise us to continue this in the week or till we come to the next class? Should we study this chapter again multiple times, memorize the verses in them, read the purports? How would you advise us?
One nice point. That's a good question. Usually, we have been through academic phase of our life. And academic phase means you read a book, you never even go back to it. How many people have read a lot of books during their college years and making use of that knowledge right now? I will be the first to raise my hands because I have no clue of what I read. It was gone past. The books, now I take back my college books, they seem like, did I go through this and pass the exams? Serious? You got to be kidding me. So my point here is that Bhagavad Gita is not like that. Each time you read, you get new meaning. It's a lifetime of reading. So my request is, don't get this fear of perfection stop you from reading. I get it, I need to get everything at the first go. Impossible. The words of Krishna are non-different than from Krishna himself, and Krishna is infinite. To grasp even an infinitesimally small portion of Bhagavad Gita is a great credit. When we get into this trap, I need to get everything at word go, it's an unrealistic expectation you are aiming at. Because nobody can get completely off Krishna unless he reveals himself to you. So my request is, read with a attitude of sincerity and being completely humble, thinking I'm sitting at lotus feet of Prabhupada and reading these books, trying to get some knowledge. The other aspect of Bhagavad Gita is nobody can do it on their own. Or academically I can just take the book, read it, do some practical work and I'm the master. This is not possible. Unless you get the mercy of your Guru and Gauranga, you cannot understand anything of Bhagavad Gita. It's a fact, because this Bhagavad Gita has been there for 5,000 years and Krishna says it's an open secret. Why didn't people get it till now then? It's there, it's been there, same verses. It's not like somebody altered the verses and gave some new dynamic meaning to it. Same verses. So my request is, read that, just be grateful to Krishna and pray, beg to Krishna, please reveal to me what you're trying to say here. I don't understand. My intelligence is limited and your intelligence is infinite. That connection of complete infinite to a finite is a transcendental process. So that attitude change should be there when we read Bhagavad Gita. It's not a mundane literature, nor is it a mundane degree, nor is a mundane thing I'm trying to aspire here. Then you'll be okay. Because probably this is the only course in the world you might attend where you are never judged if you fail. In fact, I might be happy if you fail. Not that I want to fail anybody of you. Please. Man, this guy is going to fail. No. My point is, that's not my goal. You can ask all the devotees who already passed and get the BhaktiSastri. They'll say that that's not my side. I'm not a sadist. Or that much compassionate also. That I deliberately fail so that, merciful. Again, they can read again and again. Keep reading till they are like 60 years old and they get the degree after 40 years. Not like that. You'll get your degrees. The point is, even if you by perchance fail, something happened, you couldn't read, you attempted the exam, you couldn't get the marks. Which 65 is the passing. Just for coming back from this transcendental plane to earth plane, 65 is the passing. In case even if you don't get that, you get a chance to read these books again. Having said that, please don't fail yourself. I didn't read, Srivas Prabhu said it's okay if you fail because you get to read again. I'm being so compassionate to myself that I'm going to read again and again. Please don't be so much compassionate to yourself. Because after, if you pass, then you can read Bhakti Vaibhava. This is also a further reading. So little bit answers your question. Sorry for the long answer to the short question, but these are
Sorry.
good. You brought up these because all these will be covered nicely. The last point I have is, please don't manage your services in a way that it doesn't affect your Bhakti Shastri schedule. I don't want Vaishish Prabhu chasing me saying that, because of the Bhakti Shastri they are not doing their services. But please balance out. In case you need some sort of personal guidance, then let me know. Any other questions? So this is a fun thing actually. Reading in association of devotees is fun. And correct. But no, the 3 weeks, right? Second chapter we said 3 weeks. Yeah. So the Bhagavad Gita, for the Isopanishad we had 2 week schedule. Every alternate week we meet. But with Bhagavad Gita, depending on the length of chapter, we may give 2 or 3 weeks. So please check that. So second chapter, we are supposed to complete the first chapter next week. Because we started last week. This week, we are in the first chapter. This whole of next week, we are in the first chapter. Complete that, and then start the second chapter next week. Oh, you're right. Probably it's next week. No, it is next week. It's next week. Tomorrow, no. The next week, and from now on, this is a one-off class on a Saturday morning, but every other class will be 2 o'clock on a Sunday. So next week, we have a class where we are discussing the second chapter. Yeah. Yes, Aarti. Go ahead.
Quick suggestion. If
Sure.
you have the class on Saturday morning, I think I'm much more...
Comfortable?
I'm much more engaged. I'm just like a morning learner.
Okay, I see. So, right now, it's SKP, we are all under him and Malini, because they said on a Saturday morning it might interfere with their Sankirtan, but if it doesn't interfere, I'm okay with this time too. So, but Saturday 2 o'clock has been traditionally that, and I don't want to disturb just for this semester. Probably we can consider that for the next semester if that's okay with you. Next, we might do that also, but right? But this semester we already announced the dates. Vaishesh Prabhu is there, that can go for a very long time. And there can be fire sacrifices and initiations and all those kinds of things in the morning. Yeah. So we'll for now stick to that time. I know, actually I share with you because most of the times I come here, I am sleepy too. So don't get me wrong. How I did it is a miracle in itself. Online, somebody? Okay. More questions, more comments. So nobody wants to know why Arjuna said what he said? Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Did everybody get the contradiction? What could be the possible answers? Why did Arjuna say sin will overcome us when they were clearly aggressors and we defined it? Yes, go ahead, Mataji. Kamal Radhika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Arjuna was a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. So devotees of the Lord, they are ready to accept any kind of difficulties, whatever comes in their life, but they never think of harming others or like in this series of shlokas, he says that, if we destroy the kinsmen, then their wives will be by themselves, then they will have unwanted progeny, and a lot of irreligious things will happen,
right,
which a devotee actually doesn't want to see. Even if he has to go through hell, he will go through hell, but he doesn't want to harm others.
Okay. Nice point. It's a nice point. We'll address that. Good point. More answers. Because last time I think this question came for exam. It might not come this time, so don't worry.
Yes, in continuation to the same thing that Mataji said, once men are gone and then they are unwanted children, so they will have the sinful mentality, and the activities they perform all around will be more of sin. So probably That's what I feel. Maybe he referred to that.
So, Arjuna was a Maharatha, which means that he was well versed in scriptures. So, was he going against scriptures? Was he being very emotional about it? Because scriptures say that you are allowed to kill and there is no harm. Yes, go ahead.
But the scripture doesn't prohibit you to forgive. So that's the nature of the devotees. They want to forgive people.
Okay.
They want to let them go.
Okay, nice. So the devotees are even more compassionate than scriptures. That's the bottom line of your. Yeah. Okay. Valid argument. More questions. More suggestions. Actually, I'll not. I was not expecting any answer. So those who tried, bravo, good job. So here is the deal. This injunction of killing the aggressors comes from Arthashastra. Arthashastras say that if there are aggressors and they kill and then they do all the 6 kinds of things that are mentioned, they can kill them, there is no problem. But the Dharma Shastras, they prohibit killing of one's teachers or one's superiors. Bhishma, Drona, and others were superiors. And they forbid, the Dharma Shastras, they forbid the killing of one superior. You can't kill your own father or grandfather or your teachers. Strictly forbidden. When there is a clash between the Arthashastras, which say that you can kill, whereas the Dharma Shastras, you say you cannot kill, then the Dharma Shastras take precedence over Arthashastras. So Arjuna is right in saying that sin will overcome. Because, and Srila Prabhupada alludes this in the purport, but in a very indirect way. He says, because of the special type of aggressors who were present in front of Arjuna. Arjuna was a very sharp personality. He knew both the Shastras, and he said when they are in a contradiction, the Dharma Shastras always take precedence. Dharma Shastras say you cannot kill, but Artha Shastras say you can kill. And when there is a direct contradiction or clash, then Dharma Shastra wins. Artha Shastra takes backseat. So Arjuna was right in saying that sin will, there will be sinful reactions. If he kills Bhishma, if he kills Drona, he saw his personality, superiors there, and he was about to kill them. So that's the answer. Questions? Did everybody get the answer or any clarification needed? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So I think that fact is not directly mentioned in the Gita slokas, right? It's mentioned in the purport that, we are allowed to kill someone is allowed to kill the aggressors. But it's not directly in the Gita slokas.
Yeah, in purport, Srila Prabhupada gives an indirect way. He says, because there were special kind of aggressors who were superiors, then Arjuna had hesitation in killing them. And it was right, because he had complete knowledge of scriptures, so he could analyze both and come to a conclusion which was right or which was superior. So he was right. Arjuna was right. He was not under emotion. His intelligence was not lost, nor was his remembrance lost. He was still perfectly aware of Shastras. So please understand, the reasons are solid. Arjuna doesn't do like love me not kind of thing. It's really solid reasons why he says I won't fight, and he has it. All right. Anything else? So we'll meet next week then, because we have to go to the second chapter. Next Sunday. We'll meet next Sunday. Because this is last Sunday there was no class, that's why. Thank you very much. Oh, online, anybody had any questions before we kind of sign off? Oh, SKP Prabhu is not here. All right. You can send me offline. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpataru.